This is the Who Are We podcast. This is RP Watts. You can find us online at whoarewe.blog. This week, desire, stop. Buying that will not make you feel better. How I'm beating impulse buying, and so should you. Later in life, I'm finding that I'm attached to some ideas that just don't add up. These ideas have and are having a serious impact on my life. One of them I'm trying to move beyond is materialism. Many studies show that those who are materialistic have a lower social and personal well-being. I didn't have a whole lot of money for most of my life. I couldn't get all the stuff that I desired. This was extremely troubling. I felt a less than feeling around all my peers. Notably, when I was only 10 or so, I refused to leave a shoe store until my father bought a pair of Jordans for me for the upcoming basketball season. We eventually decided on Reebok pumps. Remember those? The materialism compounded in my 20s when I dated a young woman whose ex-husband was an Air Force captain. Holy beta male, did this set off an explosion of self-acceptance issues. I had to puff out my chest. Up to this point, I was going to be a rock star. And as a result, I wasn't familiar with this competitive, all-encasing feeling. That's a story for another time, however. I did everything I could do to try to make myself look wealthier and get more stuff. I bought a house, worked my way up in a company, same company I work for now, and completely changed everything in my life. Mountains were moved, in retrospect. This turned out to be a whole lot of really misguided effort. In the next phase of my life, I got married. This was during a positive time when my income grew. I was at the height of my materialistic journey. We took 2 or 3 vacations a year. I drove a luxury car and was going out to eat 4 or 5 times a week. After the marriage ended, I had a bunch of stuff. A huge television set was mounted on my wall. I was amassing a large vinyl record collection and had Bluetooth speakers and/or a high-end Sonos speaker in every room. I was spending more than I was making. I rationalized that I was investing in my future. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but I typed it, so there it stays. The only thing I was really investing in was American Express. I made a lot of changes, and I still have some way to go, but I still get caught up in impulse buying. My mind has found a new way to express this desire. This is done through buying items I'll need, quote unquote, moving away from entertainment items. I love organization, so office supplies are one of my favorites. Also, I love vinyl records. I do truly love them for a variety of reasons, but if I'm being honest with myself, the most exciting part of the whole process is clicking the buy button and awaiting its arrival. Seriously. Okay, I still have a long way to go, but I'm going either way. The power of desire is incredible. It causes us to mislead, straight up lie to ourselves. We resent one another, fight, go to war, steal, and bully for what we want, what we desire. The desire for material goods is just one example. There are actually 16 desires, including power, independence, curiosity, acceptance, order, saving, honor, idealism, social contact, family, status, vengeance, romance, eating, physical exercise, and tranquility. So which desire is being expressed by impulse buying? Power mostly, with a hint of status. I feel powerful when I buy something. It also provides a feeling of status by using that power. But I'm not fooling the marketers. They know I feel this way. They set it up this way. They have the human psyche mapped out when it comes to making purchases. There are all kinds of psychological principles at work pushing us in this direction. The Gruen effect will have you lost in a store in hopes that you're more likely to buy. IKEA has been named in this scheme. The Diderot effect keeps us buying things subsequently after an initial purchase. For example, you buy a computer, then you buy a new mouse, a new case, a new desk, etc. Before you know it, you're broke. And here we are, experiencing the Diderot effect. It's likely we all suffer from impulse buying to some degree. If only there was another me that would appear when I was making these rash decisions that screamed, "Buying this will not make you feel better." Since that is not an option, let's look at some others. This is how I'm beating impulse buying, and so should you. Delete shopping apps. The average consumer spends $5,000 per year on useless items. It's projected that online sales are to reach $4.2 trillion in sales this year and $6.4 trillion by 2024. A lot of people shop online and 62% make a purchase at least monthly. Shopping on mobile phone apps is expected to rise by 56% by 2022. While most shopping starts on mobile phones, most online transactions are completed on a computer. This is expected to change as the trend moves us towards mobile. Delete the Amazon app. Delete the Etsy app. Delete the eBay app. I did it. It helps more than you'd think. The logic follows. If you can't look it up easy on your phone, you're less likely to make an impulse buy. Of course, you could go to your phone browser and shop. Nevertheless, there's a reason for shopping apps on your phone. It creates a greater level of engagement for you, the user. Also, it's more likely that you'll develop a habit for using the app. The rate of online shopping addiction is going up. Most of this has to do with the stress caused by this pandemic. However, it's good to know the telltale signs. For example, spending more than you can afford, of course, feeling guilty for the purchases made, feelings of upset due to not being able to shop, hiding your items from your loved ones. Any of these feelings or actions should certify a red flag. You should consider the possibility of a problem. If you're already going to buy $5,000 worth of useless stuff this year, this is a no-brainer. Limit your access to buying useless items. Choose the fruit salad, not the cake. Often when we make an impulse buy, we do it during an emotional time. Impulse buyers are often more status-oriented, experience more anxiety and inability to control emotions, and experience less happiness than most. It has a mood-boosting effect. If this is the driving factor influencing the purchase, this is problematic. Understand that when most of us consider making a purchase, our limbic system, this is the part of the brain responsible for pleasure, becomes active. Those marketing to us know this. There are several tricks they use to lure us in to make the purchase. In an experiment conducted in 1999, a group of participants were given a 2-digit or a 7-digit number to memorize before an interview. They were also notified they could pick a snack off a snack cart. The snack cart offered either chocolate cake or fruit salad. Those with the 7-digit number overwhelmingly chose the chocolate cake. So what? The chocolate cake represented the feel-good impulse choice, while the fruit cake represented the more thoughtful, less impulsive choice. Those with more on their mind overwhelmingly chose the feel-good choice. Often when we enter online or brick-and-mortar stores, there is some attempt to overwhelm us. In providing more information and choices than we need, our perceptions are easily overwhelmed and confused. Consequently, we're more likely to make more feel-good purchases. This is also true if there are other things unrelated to shopping that are on the mind. If we got a lot on the mind, we're far more likely to make that emotional purchase. When we're stressed and our frontal lobe is overloaded or exhausted, we're on autopilot. We're not even fully conscious of what we're doing. This is right where the companies want us. A recommended best practice is that you make a list before you shop. Stick to the list. Don't stray. For larger purchases, set your own limit. Then, wait it out. No need to jump on it. The moral of the story is that if you can convert shopping to a thoughtful process, instead of an emotional one, you're far less likely to impulse buy. Next, know your brain. We are happier wanting or desiring something than we are when we actually have it. Let me repeat this. We are happier wanting or desiring something than we are when we actually have it. This is profound. Let's state that one more time. We are happier wanting or desiring something than we are when we actually have it. It's counterintuitive at first, sure, but think about it. You've experienced this before. It makes sense if you understand that it's the reason why we survive. This desire had to be strong enough to move us to do crazy things like kill other animals so that we could eat at one point in time. Now, we still have the same instincts. However, they don't serve us quite as well. Understand that we are dealing with an instinct that is at the very core of who we are. Here are some basic strategies that marketers employ to exploit these instincts. Cheap stuff is at the register. Marketers know that we like to buy stuff. Putting these items where we check out is a way of squeezing a few more bucks out of us and getting a little more of a rush from buying something else. Put the prices on the left. We read left to right, so we automatically assume that number lines proceed from left to right as well. Subconsciously, we know that one starts on the left, and as we move right, the numbers increase. So this makes us feel like it's a lower price. Foods that are often bought together are separated in stores. This causes you to have to walk past a lot of other items, tempting your impulse. Misting produce is often to make it look more appealing. The expensive big-ticket items may be put in displays up front. The consumer then sees a cheaper version of what they saw when they walked in and consider the cheaper a steal. For example, a $5,000 television is put in the front of the store. You're in the market for one. When you're looking through them in the rear of the store, you find one for $2,500 and think, wow, what a deal, and you're sold. It is thought that 62% of in-store purchases are impulse buys. This percentage is thought to be much higher online. Know your brain is set up for failure in this way. Be aware of their tricks. Mindfulness. Mindfulness can lead to a cure for multitudes of mental conditions, including the desire to shop. Just being aware that you're making purchases to make yourself feel better is a fantastic start. But when you sit with it, you start realizing some scary things. For those not familiar with this idea, it is not synonymous with meditation. Meditation may be used as a tool to reach a greater degree of mindfulness. However, mindfulness in this case is simply being aware of or conscious of a predilection for impulsivity. Am I buying this because I have low self-worth? Am I making purchases, spending thousands just to make myself feel better for a few minutes? What is the true drive behind my actions? I recommend meditation personally. Mindful meditation is simply the act of training your mind to pay attention to your thoughts. Eventually, to have a greater control over them. In this way, you can identify, when am I making these purchases? How am I feeling when I make the purchase? What are the activities that occurred prior to me making this purchase? I will caution that a surface ask of these questions will not do. You'll have to go a little deeper. Studies show that mindful meditation can improve impulsive thoughts. Essentially, if you want to curb your impulse spending, get a hold of your thoughts. Be mindful. Acquire a tool that will help you achieve a greater awareness of your thoughts and where they stem from. There are many tools available to you, including the Raise and Exercise, body scanning, mindful seeing and listening, self-compassion pause, and more. You can get links to these, what exactly they are, at whoarewe.blog. Change your philosophy. If you're having trouble with impulse buying, there may be a misalignment between your values and actions. Or perhaps worse, your values and actions are aligned. Your actions are simply reflecting your values. When this is the case, it may be time to make a change. If we believe that having more material items will bring greater happiness, this may be something you want to reconsider. A 2014 meta-analysis of materialism's impact on well-being has found there is a negative correlation between life satisfaction and prioritization of materialism. This means that most research finds that the attitude that things equal satisfaction is simply untrue. For example, I love the Green Day record American Idiot. I haven't listened to it for quite a long time. I heard one of the songs from it the other day, randomly. I then purchased the record on vinyl. I made an impulse buy. I have yet to listen to said record and received it months ago. Is my philosophy that I like to collect records just in case I ever want to listen to them? Is it that I believe buying this record, the process of ordering and awaiting its arrival, the main reason I ordered it? Do I believe that I will achieve greater life satisfaction by having this record? Yes. Yes, I do. And so I make the buy, the impulse buy. It's time to rethink my philosophy. My life is good, knowing that this music is out there, yes. But I will change my philosophy to only purchasing records that I'll listen to on a regular basis. Otherwise, the purchase simply doesn't align with my values. Examples of values around purchasing could be, I value purchases that impact my life regularly. Or, I value purchases that are sustainable for the environment. Or even, I value purchases that provide memorable experiences. The value that I was exercising sound more like, I value the feeling experience by making a purchase that gives me a good feeling in the moment. And so my philosophy needs to change to one that more closely aligns with healthier, more character and thoughtful motivations of purchasing. Evolving from, I do what feels good to in the moment, to, I will do what regularly enhances my life in a positive way. Document your reasons for purchases. Another thing I like to do is write down my reason for the purchase. This puts in place a little accountability for where I'm spending my money. For example, if I decide I need some new work clothes, I'll write in my notes app on the phone all the thoughts surrounding this idea for the purchase. Can I afford it? Why do I feel I need new clothes? Is this an impulse buy? What would happen if I didn't buy it? Is this a need or a want? How does this play into the overarching theme of my personal values? Oftentimes, this can simply help you learn from your purchasing snafus. I was notorious for buying workout equipment. At one point, I had really nice workout bench, weights, and a pull-up bar mounted in my basement. These were all impulse buys. I think I used them one time. If I would have had this practice at the time, my notes would have looked something like this. Can I afford it? The answer would probably be, how can I afford not to? I'm going to look great and nothing should be prioritized ahead of health. Why do I feel I need this? I feel like it would improve my overall well-being, physical fitness, and life in general. Is this an impulse buy? No. I wanted to work out for forever. What would happen if I didn't buy it? I would continue to be out of shape and weak. Is this a need or a want? This is definitely a need. How does this play into the overarching theme of my personal values? I believe you have to exercise to be a healthy and thriving person in life. At this point in your similar situation, you'll realize what a salesman you are to yourself. These all seem like reasonable answers, so what happened? For the first question, yes, I could afford it, but what I could not afford is if I bought it and did not use it. I cannot afford to buy things I won't use. My initial answer to this question bypasses this whole idea. Secondly, I'm right on with this answer. It would improve my overall well-being and physical fitness. However, I have to commit to using it. This is the idea that I failed to consider. Note to self. Add impulse buying question, can I commit to using this item, service, purchase so that it justifies my investment? And I did add that to my list. This is also a good question to ask yourself for any purchase of a service. For example, a gym membership or subscription service, streaming service, etc. I used to say things like, I better watch a movie soon so that I can get the value out of my HBO subscription. What the hell? The third question, if I didn't buy it, what would happen? My answer circumvents the real issue here. I was attempting to find a solution for becoming fit, but this is not the only solution. Push-ups, running, and yoga are examples of other things that I could do without making the purchase. Maybe I could add this to the question. Is there another potential for this solution for the problem I'm trying to solve? Is it a need or a want? Don't confuse this question with the problem that you're trying to solve with the purchase. It is a need for me to be physically fit. However, because this is only one solution to that problem, it is a want. The last question presents a similar issue. It is an overarching value that creates my need for physical fitness, but we circle around a commitment. I did not want to commit to using the weight bench. I, again, considered the purchase as the sole solution. I was certain it certainly was a solution. However, it was not the only solution. This list is a good place to start. You can make your own notes as you go. Give it away. You may be thinking, okay, great, I have a problem. That makes me feel like crap. If that's the case, that is truly not the intention here. However, there are things you can do that really make you feel good in a healthy way. The research is mixed overall on altruistic behavior in general. However, the act of giving is a positive experience. Psychologist Adam Grant refers to it as one of the best anti-anxiety medications available. Even the thought of giving can release the same feel-good chemicals as thinking of food or sex. Donating to charities is a great way to put your money towards something that is more closely aligned with your values. A 2008 study found that spending money on others makes you happier than spending money on yourself. So if we're just trying to improve our feelings, buy something for someone else. Give. This will make you feel better. Another study found that elderly folks who volunteered for 2 or more organizations were 44% less likely to die than others in the next 5 years. This is true even when taking into consideration other highly impactful habits like exercise or smoking. Giving of your time and money is a great way to increase positive social interactions and personal connection. We're built for connection, and truly, this is always evident in one way or another in our drives behind our actions. And this includes impulse buying. If you experience some struggles with impulse shopping and it is having an overall negative impact on your long term, you may need to spend some time considering the contents of this article. The good news is you can change. It is possible for you to get a hold of your spending and not buy so much on impulse. The key is to realize that wanting is so much more powerful than the having. Be grateful for what you have. There are so many others in the world now and throughout human history that have had so much less. Express gratitude. Thank you. Again, this is RP Watts from the Who Are We blog at whoarewe.blog. Thank you for listening today to our article, Desire. Stop! Buying that will not make you feel better. How I'm beating impulse buying, and so should you. Thank you.